everybody. I'm Linda. Mary's at home today working. I'm going to make a real quick short video here, and I'm making sweet tea. So I've got my burner on. I've got a boiler here, and I've got 4 cups of water. So I'm going to pour 4 cups of water in my boiler and put that aside. I've got 3 family-sized tea bags. It's Luzianne. That's the brand that I like, and y'all can use whatever brand you like. This is just what I like. And I'm going to get the water boiling, and then I'm going to put the tea in it and put a lid on it. So everybody probably knows people in the South like sweet tea, and I do too. I don't make it often because it does have a lot of sugar in it, and I don't use artificial sweetener. My husband does, but I like the real stuff. Mary uses artificial sweetener. She uses Truvia, and Mike uses stevia. And I have tried my best to like it, but I don't like it. I don't like any of it. And I realize that some people don't have a choice because you're diabetic and you have to, and that's fine. There's a lot of sweeteners. Goodness, I couldn't even name all the ones that's on the market. But my philosophy is, you know, if you're going to drink something like sweet tea, which I love, I especially love it with Mexican food, or if I'm eating something spicy, I like sweet tea. And I like lemon with my tea. I love lemon slices in my tea. So anyway, my philosophy is, if you can't have it but once a month, make the real stuff. And if you're not a diabetic and you don't care about how much sugar you're taking in, well, then you can make it however often you want to. But I try not to make it over once a month. And so I'm making some today. So I'll have some for our dinner Thursday. And Mike probably won't drink it, but anyway, I will. He drinks coffee, and I don't drink coffee, so I guess my tea is my sweet treat. We don't drink soft drinks. We did for years, but we haven't. Neither one of us drank a soft drink, and oh my goodness, I've lost count, but it's probably close to 10 years. So our drink of choice is water. And Mike drinks, like I said, he drinks 3 or 4 cups of coffee a day. And when I have something special, then I'll make me some sweet tea. So lots of fast foods that carry good sweet tea. Popeyes and Chicken Express. There's a lot of fast foods that have good sweet tea, but I still like to make my own if I'm gonna have it. So I've got my water almost up to a boil, and as soon as it starts boiling, now I know some people boil their tea, and when I say boil, I laugh because some of y'all don't understand the way we talk. And we told the story a couple of weeks ago about when I was in the 2nd grade and we went to Pennsylvania. I'm not going to retell it, but they were talking about us talking funny. It's kind of funny because, I mean, I don't think anybody should make fun of how anybody talks, but to me, everybody else talks funny. We talk normal because I'm from East Texas and I grew up talking like this. We wasn't raised on a farm, we were raised in town, but we have an East Texas dialect. So, and I make no apology for it. It's part of who we are. So, anyway, I hope everybody is getting ready for Thanksgiving. Surely, I'm sure that y'all all have your menus planned, probably have your grocery list already made, and probably your groceries bought. Your refrigerators are probably full. We did corn yesterday, so I have corn left over that we're gonna be having Thursday. But today, I've been super busy making pies, and this is for my local orders. So I have a full day today, this evening, and part of the day tomorrow until I get them all delivered. So anyway, my water's almost boiling. I've heard people say that they boil their tea bags in their water. I don't. I get the water to a boil, and then and boil, that's B-O-I-L, boil. Get it to a boil, and then I'm going to turn the burner off, and I'm going to let it steep. I'm going to put the lid on it and let it steep. And I usually let it steep for about 7 or 8 minutes, and then I'll show you how I sweetened it and what we do next. So, goodness. So I think Mary is working at home on maybe a little video that she's going to post later on in the week. Her white cranberry fudge, which is really delicious, and she's going to be working on that from home and posting her video. We wish we could be together every day and be on here live every day, but it's just not quite possible because we live an hour apart and we both have other things that we have to do and get done. So we can't, you know, travel back and forth to each other's house because it's an all-day thing when we do. It takes an hour to get there, an hour to get back, and however long we're doing our videos, sometimes we'll, you know, the day is a 10 or 12-hour day when we do that, either when I go to her house or she comes to mine. So I'm turning this burner up on high here to get this started. And I would have already had the water boiling, but I wanted to show y'all exactly what I put in it. So, and I'll post the recipe. It's real simple. It's you know, sugar, water, and tea. But there is a certain way to do it, or at least I think it is. You know, it's hard to sweeten cold tea, and I'm sure some of you have tried. Maybe you haven't. But if you sweeten cold tea, you won't ever get regular sugar dissolved in it. You can put 1/3 of a cup in a glass and it won't dissolve. So if you don't sweeten your tea when it's warm, I would say to use simple syrup and sweeten it. That way it's a liquid going in it and you don't have to worry about it not dissolving because the sugar's already dissolved. So that brings up another point. How do you make simple syrup? Now I'll tell you something funny. I make it almost every week. I keep it in the refrigerator, and I save my K-Row jugs, and I keep it in here, and I label it, and I label the date on it. I don't keep it long enough for it to go bad or anything, but I do put the dates on them. So, and this has just got a little bit of syrup left in it. But to make simple syrup, okay, my tea's boiling, so I'm going to put 3 tea bags in here. I'm going to make sure that the tea bags go down in the water. Got the water off. Make sure you have a boiler that the lid fits on tight. So I have a little boiler that I use to make my simple syrup in, and it's a heavy boiler. And to make simple syrup, it's equal parts sugar and equal parts water. Now, when you're putting that on a burner, you don't want it to start out real high because you want that sugar to dissolve. And if you start it out real high, it's going to start boiling before your sugar's dissolved. So start it out on, probably if you have an electric stove, I would say start it out on a 3 and make sure all the sugar gets dissolved. And you'll tell when it is because it's clear. There's no crystals in it. It's clear. So once it starts, everything's dissolving, then you want to bring it to a boil. Boil, B-O-I-L, boil. Bring it to a boil and then take it off the stove and let it cool. So I had a boiler. I think I had made a full boiler full of simple syrup. I was completely out. And I come in here a couple of hours later, and my boiler's gone. And I asked my cousin, "What'd you do with my simple syrup?" He said, "That was water. I throwed it out." I said, "Mike, that was not water. It was simple syrup." So I had to make some more. So I made me another batch. But anyway, it is thicker than water, but he thought it was water. So while we're letting that steep, and I'm going to set the timer here for 6 minutes. It's probably already been on about a minute. Let me grab my pitcher. So I've got, this is a spatula that I used to ice and cakes with, and this is what I used to stir my tea. This is a, oh goodness, how big is, this is a gallon pitcher. I guess I thought it was a half gallon. It's a gallon pitcher. So this is going to make a gallon of tea. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2 cups of sugar in this gallon pitcher. And I know that some of you are going to say that is a lot of sugar, and it is a lot of sugar, but this is how I make it. So everybody's going to say they make theirs a different way. This is how I make it. So you want to put 2 cups of sugar in here, 2 full cups. And the reason I'm putting it in the pitcher first is because when I pour this hot tea in there, I want it to start melting the sugar. And then once that's melted, then we're going to pour some water over this, and then we'll start adding the cold water to it. Now, everybody wants to do make-aheads. This is definitely something you can do and make ahead. So there's no use to purchase or buy gallons of iced tea. It's just so easy to make. So just make it ahead of time. It's best when it's cold. When it's poured over ice, if it's hot, it's going to melt the ice cubes. So get your sugar in there, and I'm going to get some water here, so I can pour in here. Now sometimes I have a Mr. Coffee iced tea maker, and I do use that. It's very nice, but I figured that everybody might not have one. I've only actually had mine for probably less than a year, so I figured I'd make it the old-fashioned way, because I know everybody's got a boiler and a stove. So that's why I'm doing it with here. But with the iced tea maker, with Mr. Coffee, you actually use ice cubes in it. And you can, if you want it, if you forget to make it and you want to cool it down real quick, instead of cold water, instead of like just tap water or water in a jug, if you buy water, then you can use cold water out of the refrigerator, and that helps too. Or you can add ice cubes to it, and that will help cool it down. But there's nothing tastes better than a good cold glass of sweet iced tea. So we've got just a little bit longer here. Now you don't want to add your tap water or cold water first. You want this to go in there first, because you want to make sure that the cold water won't dissolve it. So I'm gonna get off for just a second, and then I'll get back on when this quits, and I'll show you the rest of it. And I'll be back on in just probably less than 5 minutes. So don't forget to come back. I'll be back in just a few minutes.